Right, I'm going to play a game or two in the Chess960 Shield Arena. Now these are 3 minutes with 2-second increments. So I've just got to slow down a little bit, but I'm only going to play 1 or 2 games, not many. Right, 1787, good luck. So the king is here, kingside is the left as I look. So I've got to move the 2 bishops and the queen to castle kingside. So I'm going to play pawn forward first and hopefully the other one as well. Maybe just 1 square, stops the knight easily jumping over. Okay, now this pawn is hanging there. So I'll play knight up. If takes, I can take. He pushes up, so I've got bishop up. Knight down's a bit of a problem. So I'm going to develop the bishop to hit the knight and maybe just trade it for the knight. He now takes, so I'll take with a pawn. Take with a knight and queen can grab the pawn, of course. So he plays queen up. Okay, I've got to be a little careful here. Bishop up invites knight in, doesn't it? But is that necessarily bad? I'm not sure. Actually, let's drop the bishop back with a tempo on the queen. And then just maybe play the bishop up. Okay, so bishop up. I'll give him the pawn. Guess I'll just castle queenside. Maybe that's a little bit early, maybe I didn't need to. Oh, knight comes forward. So pawn up is a natural move, knight can take. I don't see any other real way to defend this, so I'm going to have to push the pawn. If he takes, I can take. Queen takes, king over. Okay, he doesn't, so... I've got to play knight over here, I think. And maybe rook up to support the pawn. Yeah, that's a good move, but I think I can play bishop up. He plays knight forward, so I'll grab the bishop. Oh, and I blundered the queen. Okay. Now, do I want to take a knight and give up a bishop, or is his knight getting trapped? Let's drop the bishop back. What's he done? Castled, so I've got the knight. But clearly I'm just busted here. If he finishes this like he should do, then I'll lose this game, but not to worry. I've been playing it a bit too quick as well, forgetting about the increment. Need to use the increment. But now what? Now what? Oh, well, if I trade that knight, gets rid of a real nuisance, I guess. Bishop back supports the rook. Knight up hangs a pawn, but maybe that's sensible. Let's play up, hit the queen and pressure the pawn. So now double the rooks and just drop the bishop back, I guess. Actually, let's play pawn forward and then maybe knight up. Pressure the pawn. Okay. So I don't see how I'm getting the knight across unless I maybe drop back. Let's drop the knight back and try and bring it across this side. Okay, won't care too much about them. I've got to go forward. So if he plays back, I can always drop the rook back. If queen down. Now I can't quite hit the queen there. Knight takes, pawn takes, bishop check. If I go up, queen up, blocks, you can always take with a rook, but I think that would be... No, I can't, can I? Might lose the knight. Up, and he blocks. Doesn't quite work. Doesn't quite work. I don't want to trade the rook though, that's the problem. Up, queen up. Bishop down, I'll lose the knight, but then... what, maybe just move the king? He just grabs... let's bring the knight across then, and then maybe I can play bishop down if queen goes over pinning the rook. Okay, now I'll go forward, and again I think I can still drop the bishop back with queen over. Wow, he pushes up, so he's blowing the defence open. So I've got to move the king though. So I think pawn up and king across look okay. I think moving it looks forced now, but I've got a potential check and take idea. Again, if a queen check anywhere, I can block with the other rook. But he's got, what, 4 extra pawns, so he could probably trade the queen if he really wants to. Now, do I go in? Check. Yeah, I've got to go forward. Oh, it's checkmate. Wow. I had a complete lapse in concentration there. Should have seen that one a mile off, but he played well, to be fair. Well done. So I'll play one more game, maybe 2. Right, 17-20, good luck. Okay, let's push forward and then develop the knight and just look to castle the side. Okay, he's gone berserk. Now that means he actually loses his increment. Now can I catch him out somewhere? See, I could develop the bishop there, but I'll just go nice and gently. So now I'll develop the bishop. Okay, so we're going opposite sides. Okay, if he pushes I can just take right now, so let's push forward. I could trade there. Okay, now I can't. I'm going to develop the bishop so I can push. Wow, he's really going for this. Okay. Now, do I want to trade there? Take, he takes, a push, or I can push, allow him to take and grab a pawn, but open the file. No, it's wrong to trade, I think. I'm going to push the pawn. Okay, so let's go up and hit the rook. But at some point I might allow this idea just to open it up. Oh, and I've blundered it. Wow. Just didn't see it. Okay, that means I'm not with it then, doesn't it? That means I'm just completely not with it. Let's just push and let him take. Yeah, I'm just not seeing anything at all. Okay, I'll just play this a bit like a bullet game now. This is just a complete waste of time, but let's just see. Plays over. I can't even play queen up. Knight up I don't like the look of. Let's play knight back and hit the bishop and try and at least push a pawn. He might even have ideas like this and open the king. I'm going to put the knight forward just to stop this immediate pawn push. So he goes back, logical. So I'll jump over and hit the bishop and try and push forward. Try and push again. Again, he's got so much material, surely he can afford to trade a lot of this. Now do I push? Well, let's go with a check. Let's develop and hit the bishop again. So he comes in. So hit the bishop yet again. So now this is the moment of truth. I think I've probably got to push here. Bishop takes, takes. Yeah, it's an all-in moment, isn't it? So knight up. He can play rook takes. I can't quite take there. I've got rook forward, which is interesting. Hit the bishop. I've got to go forward though. Okay, so I'll hit the bishop again. Can I push there? I'm aware my knight is hit. I've got rook up as well. Knight takes, pawn takes, and he grabs the queen. That doesn't work for me. Queen over isn't on. I'm going to have to support. What's he done? He's played a very early f3. Okay, let's just ignore that. I think up, knight takes, pawn takes, doesn't work. Yeah, another very poor blunder there. No, it's just lost, isn't it? Well done, but I don't want to end on a poor note like that. Oh, let's just quickly show how the early leaders are doing. Wow, look at that. Double the points of anyone else. It is a Grandmaster, of course, so that's not a surprise, but unbeaten for so many games is very, very impressive because it's so easy to go wrong in Chess960. So 1627, good luck. The king is all the way over here, king side on the left. Okay, let's just play the knight up. Okay, there's no need to play so fast like that when you've got increments especially. Okay, and why is he playing so fast? I'm not sure. Let's throw in a check. So now we can't castle that side, that's for certain. So develop the knight, queen up somewhere in castle. I'm happy for him to take the knight. Plays up. So now I'll push. If he takes, I can take with a check. So that would be a blunder. So he won't do that, he doesn't. So I've got queen up, protect the pawn, hit the bishop. He takes, I take, he grabs the pawn. And I'm not seeing any real compensation for that. So queen up, he takes. I could take with a pawn. It just creates an imbalance, doesn't it? So let's take with a pawn. If he takes, I've already lined up that I can castle on the king's side. He goes back. Okay, that's probably sensible. But I think I'll bring the knight in now and hit the bishop. Because he took with a king, he can't actually castle on the other side of the board, of course. So he's left potential for me to push forward here. So I think I'm going to go for that immediately. Maybe provoke this, which he's done. So drop back, still support the pawn. Prepare a push, maybe a take. Probably not good, but interesting. I could play something really wild to kick the knight and take. Well, look, he's dropped the bishop back. So now the question is, do I want to push? Knight takes bishop, he just gets a free pawn. So I think I'm just going to get castled. Knight back. Well, I've got knight check. He has to go there to support his pawn. No, do I drop the knight back? No, I'm just going to take and go back and hit the bishop again. Plays up. So I'll push the pawn and look to potentially push. So up, lose a knight. Up, lose a knight, gain a bishop, but it just creates an imbalance. If bishop takes, knight takes, queen takes, I'm just losing a pawn, so I'm just going to take. Right, let's play across and threaten to push. I've got to get this bishop out though. If this doesn't work, I'm going to have to drop the queen somewhere and try and release the other bishop. Okay, so he does allow the push. Surely that's got to be good for me. Even if I just give up a pawn for free for now, it's got to be good to open a position. So drop back, hit the pawn, but I don't really want to take that because it opens up the file to my king. Okay, well now he allows my other rook onto a nice file. He goes back, so now I'll release the bishop this way. Maybe I could have actually gone further there. Maybe. So let's just develop the bishop and prepare to push. Okay, so he's threatening a checkmate, which is a bit annoying. So again, I can push, but that's going to kill off my defense. I can maybe push this pawn. If I go here, he's got maybe knight takes, but I think it's forced. Knight takes, I can take. Queen takes, I can drop the queen over. So push, does it work? It's got to be quick. I've got to be quick now. So push. Threaten to take. I've just got to risk it, haven't I? I've got to risk it. If he pushes, I can potentially counter push because my queen supports. I'm threatening to just go ahead and push again, hit the queen. Pawn takes, rook takes. This king's getting open a bit. He pushes. I thought he would have pushed the other one. So do I waste a move there? Do I grab the pawn? Potential to hit the knight, but then rook across. I'm going to go up and hit the queen. I could be lost in this game as well, of course. It's so easy to go wrong, it really is. My opponent is what you can see, he's really a 2000 level player or thereabouts, so he's stronger in Blitz than he is in Chess960. That goes for most players. And he's doing the right thing, he's using his time. What you should do. Yeah, he's gone for the sacrifice. So I've got to take. Now do I push? I've obviously got queen across, which I think is kind of forced. Whether I push, check, pawn takes and a take, rook takes a take. Now I've got to play over. He'll go for a check and I'll jump in the corner. Oh, he grabs the pawn. Now that I didn't expect. So now I'll check. Now I've weakened his central structure, which could be important. So I'll grab another one. What's he done? He's played really quick. He's pushed his pawn. So I can put the rook behind it. Check doesn't do much. So let's just go behind and grab the pawn. Yeah, let's take. So again, I've got check. He's got to go back, so that looks sensible. Now hit the rook and pawn and play the king up. He's bound to throw in a check. So take. Oh, I've got to watch the clock here. Let's throw up a pawn. Yeah, I've not got any compensation, I don't think. Oh, that's a terrible blunder. He could have just queened immediately there. He could have just queened it. And now I've got nothing. He can just take it. If I take, he queens, so I've got nothing. I think he's blundered. Wow, I got away with one there a little bit, didn't I? He just made a mistake in the end gameplay there, so easily done. Okay, let's play a few more games. Right, 1825, good luck. Right, he's going berserk as well, which means he loses his increment. So I'll just go relatively cautiously. So develop the knight. And another one. Whoa, he's just castled immediately. Let's throw a pawn right up the board then. If he takes, I'll take with a rook. Okay, he doesn't, so he lets me take or push. Do I want to take here and trade the rook? Not desperately. I can push, but it gets it closed, so I'm going to take. I'm going to try and trade that bishop. Okay, I'm threatening to take now, and then queen in. So I don't think you can afford to take back there because of, I think it's mate in two, check and mate. So he's going to have to go this way, and I can maybe take, then get a knight check, so he's seen that. But I can take, and I can again go check. So check, he goes back, so what about check? Check, he goes back, knight check, he has to go that way. Then have I got rook check, king up? Well, I can just check and grab the knight, whatever, can't I? So let's do that. I can actually take with a check there as well, can't I? Let's go check. Now I'm threatening to take here. I'm threatening again to come in with check and checkmate. That's just a brutal game. That's more like it. That's much more like it. Again, he just went a bit too quick in the early stages, didn't he? But again, a strong player, a 2000 player. So at least I've actually won a game. That's what I meant. It's so easy just to miss something in Chess960. It really is. Very easy to go wrong. That's impressive, the leader, isn't it? Very impressive. So 1703, good luck. Now the king is all the way over here, so we have to move the two knights, the bishop and the queen, to castle kingside. I don't see anything obviously hanging at the start, so maybe release the bishop. I'm just going to move that one square just to cover this and still release the bishop potentially. So pawn up. Try and bring the knight behind the pawn. So knight up. Now I could swing the knight this side, but I think I'll just keep it sensible. Then just bishop up and queen up, just logical moves. Obviously he's got a nuisance move with the knight to come in potentially. He plays bishop up, so I'll play bishop up as well. Maybe bring it forward. So if I come up and he comes down and I drop back, has he gained anything? I'm not sure he has. I think I'm going to spend an extra move though, moving the bishop and put the queen this way. Oh, he's allowed me to take there. It'll double up his pawns in some way or other. So I'll bring the queen up and I'll also castle this side. It just means he has to make like a couple of extra moves to release the bishop. He's got a really strong defense, of course, so it could be incredibly difficult to get to his king. Pros and cons. Right, so let's castle. Okay. I'm going to throw the knight forward and see if he wants to take it, just to create an imbalance. If not, I can potentially drop the knight this way, but pre-move in case he takes. So he just plays over and ignores it. Logical though. Let's play pawn up, so I've got a potential square for my knight here as well. Oh, so he allows me to take. Brings his pawn forward, releases the bishop, but I'm not too worried about that. I think I'll go for that. So I might as well release my bishop now. Again, like my opponent did, putting it on a more logical square is probably sensible, but he's given me a chance to drop the knight back, albeit he can get on the diagonal. What to do, what to do? Let's just play rook across. What's he done? Rook across as well. Okay, I'm going to go across and hit the bishop. So take it, and then hopefully take again. Maybe I can try pushing. So if I go up here, let's just push. If he takes, I can take. Takes, and I've covered it with the bishop. I've got a fairly strong pawn chain to guard against his bishop. If he doesn't take, I'm just going to push, of course, if I get the chance. takes, so I'll take. Okay, that's a logical move. Very, very bold though. I'm not scared of trading off. I've got pressure on his pawn. If the pawn moves, bishop's got a nice diagonal. Dare I play rook up? But he's got bishop on the diagonal. But then I'd get a rook check and hit the bishop. But then he'd get the queen check at the end. Okay, now it's not playable anywhere. Pawn up is though. Takes, bishop takes. He's got to go on a light square. Takes, takes. I quite like my pawn chain. So rook up, bishop down. And a discovery on the king is no good. So I'm going to just use a move and bring the bishop up. It can always come this side and maybe go up here. Again, pre-move in case he takes. If I play the bishop back though, it gives him queen d4. That's a bit of a problem. I don't want to allow that. So maybe I'm better off trying to get the queen on a dark square. Oh, he plays over again. Okay, so he's made space for his king to go back. I'm just going to drop the queen back, but at least I've got the dark diagonal now. Ooh, he's allowing me to push. Yeah, the bishop supports it, so I'm okay to trade. So have I got rook up now? Rook takes, pawn takes, queen takes, pin the queen. Yeah, he can't actually take because of this idea. If he pushes up, I think I can take the rook he takes and then grab the pawn. And then the bishop supports the pawn. And I've still got pawn up as a move. I've got queen up. He takes, I take with a pawn. Just gives him a nuisance to think about. So up now, he takes, I take, and he can just grab. So I've now got to support it. Now, does he trade off here by pushing? That's a question. If I get one more move in, I've got a check. He does, though. So do I sack? Pawn up, he takes. I take. Doesn't feel right, does it? So let's just grab. Actually, yeah, I've got to get my king active here, don't I? He should have run in quicker there. I think he could have gotten in. He might still, of course. Let's put the pawn on a dark square, but I've got these stuck on a light square. I'm going to try and go here and hit the pawns. Right, now we can't take that. So it should be a draw now, so I will offer a draw. Okay, it would be a little bit silly not to agree it. We have increment, so... Actually, I could even drop back there, but I can't possibly get to... Yeah, what I should do is just drop the bishop literally right back and just run the king away. Then there is absolutely nothing he can do there. He can never shift that structure with the pawns at all. So that has to be a repetition. Yeah, well done. Okay, let's go back. Oops, forgot to put the leader on. Very impressive, isn't it? Still unbeaten, 85 points. Of course, like I said, he's a grandmaster, so kind of expected, but still incredible going. Ooh, now they're all over this side here, so I'll open up with a pawn and maybe bishop up, but I guess I'm going to need pawn up as well. I'm going to need this pawn up to release the other bishop, so might as well play it. Now pawn up if I can, and of course advance further if I can, but he takes. Sensible. Okay, potentially I can push there. Don't quite like the look of that though. I'm going to play knight up and maybe come in and hit the bishop. Plays bishop up again, logical. Now where do I want the bishop? I'm going to put it on the diagonal. And now I'm going to castle. Now I'm just going to go really crazy and chuck a pawn forward. So he's bound to counter. Oh, he doesn't, he just ignores it. Wow, that's very bold. I'll take them. My queen is just dead water, of course, so my bishop is hanging, and my knight is hanging when my bishop moves, so got to drop back, but this is now potentially hanging. So rook over to release the bishop to release the queen. Now that could be a good trade. I think it is. I'll get the knight forward if takes. I've got a rook covering. Right, I'm going to hit the bishop. Take with the rook looks logical if he takes. He grabs the knight. But now I've got two bishops here. If I get the queen active as well, doesn't look too bad. So I've got to get the queen up. So now pawn up is logical, but surely doubling the rooks is logical. Make sure that's done. So he's castled, but surely I can grab a pawn. He's got pawn up and then I've got bishop check. He might miss the fact that I've got a bishop check there. He might get away with it. He has missed it. So do I take the knight first? Bishop check, he's got knight blocks, which is very annoying. So if I take the knight, he takes the bishop. I've got bishop check, he can step up. But surely I'm going to get something forward there. Hold on, I've got a queen check. I've got another bishop check. No, I've got to take. I think I've miscalculated this one, so... Oh, taking with a king there. I want him on the diagonal for the check, but he's still got the hit on my queen. So go up and hit the bishop. But if this bishop stays trapped, then of course clearly I'm just lost. potentially I can take, and maybe queen check and grab back, but if I simplify it too much, I've got no compensation, have I? So again, he's given me bishop check. That's got to be good for me. If he goes back, I can grab a pawn, and I'm still hitting the bishop. But again, haven't I just got check now? Check, king over. Have I really got nothing? I'm threatening checkmate. So it's a threat. So king across. Have I still not got anything though? No real threat? I think king across might save it for him. What do I do? Bishop back. Well, he throws in a check. So I think king up. I want to be on a dark square, otherwise the queen might get in. But drop back and hit the rook, but I'm still threatening check. Maybe you can still just simply block it with a bishop though. Maybe he gets away with it. He might get away with this. Bishop check is a threat though. King across. I've got all sorts of threats, but I'm not sure if any of them actually win. So now he's gone back. So I've got to play queen check, I think. I think that's kind of forced. Again, I've got bishop check. Now if king up, I can grab the bishop and I've got a piece. If I check, he can go back. Yeah, let's grab the piece. So if he takes, I've got a take and I'm a piece up. He plays queen takes, so he's given me check. Or bishop check. Surely this has to be winning. I've got bishop down to pin the rook. I've got queen check. Yeah, checkmate. Checkmate. I did well to win that one. Again, I was struggling a bit, wasn't I? Managed to get the win though. That's so impressive, isn't it? Unbeaten, 85 points. In fact, all of these have got very impressive scores. Right, 14-23, good luck. Now the king again is all the way over here. King side is on the left. So I've got to move the 2 knights and the 2 bishops to castle that side. The queen really needs to be getting active, so I need early moves like this. Maybe the same this side with the bishop. Let's just see how he opens. Whoa, he's going berserk. So he's outrated a heck of a lot and he's still going berserk. Okay. So that gets me a lot of development. Just release the bishop. Nothing fancy. So let's go forward. Knight up. Now, I'm going to try this again like I did in the last game. Just see if he takes, and I'll take with a rook if he does. If he takes with the knight to open the king. He doesn't. So I think it's important to push the pawn so he can't support his pawn. But I've still got the option to castle this side. He pushes. Now I think that's opening up my queen here. I can grab. If he takes, I'll take with the bishop. So now I'm hitting the pawn twice. Knight takes, and queen is checkmate. I can still actually play that. He might miss that. I've got bishop check. If knight takes, it's checkmate. Yeah, he might miss that. I'll pre-move in case he does, and he does. He just didn't see it, so that's a good win. It's always risky going berserk mode at the best of time, of course. Not something I will ever plan on doing. Oops. Right, 1558, good luck. Now the king side is on the right as we look. I think I'm going to open the two bishops up. Now let's hope I'm not dropping a clanger here by doing this. Now that's bold, he's gone for a different formation. It's always risky for both of us. This pawn is hanging there. So I can either play the knight up or I can push the pawn. Knight up, he can maybe push or he can throw down this, and if I have to run away he can grab the pawn. Actually no, I've got to, don't I? Otherwise he can just get in anyway. If I push the pawn up he could have played bishop in and won the rook. Yeah, logical. So I'm going to let him take this. So this could have the potential to be a really, really wild game. Okay. Do I want to support the pawn? Do I want to trade the pawns? I'm going to support the pawn there. I might even play a really odd move like f4. Like a bird's opening type position. Okay, so I need to get my knight active. Let's bring the knight up. Okay, he's really going for this. Nothing wrong with that, of course, though. So let's take. No. Ooh, my knight's hanging. My knight's hanging. So knights support each other. Yeah, I'm not sensing this position one little bit, am I? Actually, let's hit the bishop. I want the bishop up and I want to still castle if I can. But now my pawn is hanging when his bishop moves. So I guess I've got to play up to support the pawn. Bishop up somewhere and castle. Ooh, look at this, look at this. My gut feeling is to keep that close to try and box that bishop in. Okay. So develop, so I've got the option to castle. Right, get castled and break that pin. Knight is adequately supported. Now, do I want to take there? I don't think I do. I might sack that pawn now and centralise everything. So now it's getting open. See, odd pawns don't really matter as much. Knight up. If he takes, I take, he takes. It could still be a big problem. Well, actually, rook up, he's got knight down. I want to play knight up, but he's got takes. Then knight forward. And I don't see the win. Rook up, he's got knight down, so that's not much good. So let's just play the rook up and try and double up this way. He's played so incredibly quick, hasn't he? He must be a much stronger player than what this suggests. Yeah, he's a 2000 blitz and bullet player. Clearly comfortably stronger than his Chess960 rating. Well, now can I go forward? Okay, just double them up. If knight comes in, maybe I can just take. If I take and he takes, I can take back. What on earth do we do? What on earth do we do? Let's bring the queen up. Pressure on the knight. Take, 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 or take is a threat, so he covers it. I'm going to bring the bishop up and maybe sidestep. Try and break this file. He takes. What do I go with? What do I go with? I want to put the knight there really, so I'm going to go with the bishop. But I could always bring the bishop immediately in, support by the pawn. So hit the queen. So I guess I've got to play across, but I can move the bishop and support it. What? 20 seconds already? Ooh, I better shut up, hadn't I, and concentrate, otherwise I'm just auto lost. If takes, I've got take this way, that's the idea. So check, where does he go? He's got to drop the queen back surely, he doesn't, so I'll take. Gave myself too big a mountain, haven't I? Yeah, at least I got a draw there. I was so low on time. That's not a bad result. Not a bad result. So 6 games unbeaten isn't bad. But I've got 10 points against the leader's 94. I wonder what his blitz rating is. He's a 2500 blitz and bullet player, not surprised. I won't be playing many more games though, won't be playing too many more. Right, 1580, good luck. Now the king and rook are next to each other here, we just have to move that bishop and we can castle. So let's trade the bishops off. So now we can't castle that side. So just release my bishop. Actually, I should have played the pawn up too there. That was a careless waste of a move. I want to play a bishop up like this, but I want it behind the pawn. A little bit careless of me there. He might just blast forward. If he does, then good luck to him. Alright, now I can castle. Yeah, he does blast forward, so I'll take. Again, I should have put the bishop on the diagonal immediately. He's got no knight check. I'm threatening to push. He could just grab the pawn, I guess, but I get a pawn with check, don't I? Yeah, let's take that. So he's got queen across, and maybe I can go this. Actually, no, I can't. The knight covers that. I might trade queens then. Oh, he moves the king, so that's just a rook. That's a blunder. He just didn't see that. That's unfortunate. Now his king's coming forward. So check. And he either takes it or he goes here. If he takes it, what have I got? Queen check. I don't see the forced win. Okay, let's just go sensible. The knight's pinned. So just throw the pawn forward and take advantage of the pin. Oh, now I can take, I guess. Actually, no, he's blundered. He might have blundered. He's really lucky. The knight supports the queen. He's really lucky. If I take, he takes with a knight. I take, he takes. I'm still winning, but take, if he takes, it doesn't really change anything. So let's just trade. I'm comfortably winning the game, so let's just quicken up a little bit now. Knight over. Obviously it should be relatively routine now. What level is he? He's a stronger player though, he's a decent player potentially. Okay, let's just push up. And again. Now I'm going to give the king a square and maybe advance. Just simple natural development. Actually, let's bring the knight up. I'm a clean rook up, so I should be able to win the game. But you still have to do it. So I'm looking at f5 followed by f4 ideas. Oh, is there a threat there? Don't see it. So f6 knight across. It's a bit of a nuisance, but... Oh, maybe I can trade a knight here. He's got no immediate knight check. Takes, takes. Yeah, I think I'm going to force something off the board here. The more I can get off the board, the better. He definitely can't trade the rook. He's got to move the rook somewhere else. He can't afford to trade that. Unless I drop a howling blunder somewhere, of course, which is always possible. So he does indeed move. So I guess let's go forward, hit 2 pawns, give him something to think about. And then at some point get the rook active. I can always throw in a check. Then he has to play the king back somewhere or other. And I'm keeping my king's structure intact, so that looks logical. So he goes back, so which pawn do I want? If I take this pawn, I'm releasing my passed pawn, aren't I? So I think I'll go with that one. He just takes. In that case, I'll just grab another one. Now I'm just going to push. So I've just got to be careful that I don't blunder this pawn rush, but I've got a rook on the back rank. Okay, now I can push my own pawn. Support my pawn, release my rook. I can always just take and rook behind. There's nothing he can do to stop that. But I will do that depending on what he does. That's exactly what I'm going to do. This should be relatively routine now. Actually, I should get king up so he doesn't get a back rank threat. That's a slight issue I've just maybe walked into. That's what he's gone for. So check and king up. Right, now there's no risk of a back rank mate. I can just mop up and go after the promotion. Yeah, there's no risk there. Just grab the pawn. So he resigns. So that's a good game. So 1, 2, 3. So what's that? 7 games unbeaten after 2 poor games to start. That's not bad. I don't normally play with increment. I'm not used to playing with increment. Wow, still unbeaten. That's incredible. Look at the scores of these. And look at mine, a whole 12 points. Right, what's that? 1544, I think that says. Good luck. I'm going to go with a centre pawn just to try and release the bishops. The king's here, kingside is on the right. So I'm probably going to play a knight up because I'm not going to move these pawns in a hurry. But everything looks fairly well guarded. He's doing the right thing, using his time. I think you get 30 seconds to make your first move. So just play knight up, other knight behind the pawn. Now is knight down a threat from either of us? Queen supports the pawn. I don't think it's an urgent threat. But that means it's the same for my opponent, of course. Right, plays forward. So I'm going to bring the bishop up bit of a style of a London formation. And then maybe push, get the queen up and castle. h3 is a very natural move here, I suppose, to kick the bishop. He drops back, so I'm going to take that knight just to create an imbalance. Now, this is the dilemma. I want to play this, but then if he takes, g-pawn comes over, but I really want to play it that way, but no. I'm going to delay it. I'm going to develop the bishop first. Yeah, let's play knight over, hit the bishop. If he queen checks, I've got a bishop to block with tempo. Whoa, he pushes. Now, I didn't expect that, so I'm going to take. My gut feeling is to take there. Now, this is where I've got a dilemma, and my gut feeling is to push that 2 squares. If he pushes, I'm covering it twice. If he takes, I've got a bishop. But then he gets a check. I might block and just trade queens. That looks logical. He plays queen up immediately anyway. Okay, I'll just take and trade the queens. I'm very happy to go into an endgame. If he plays knight in, I can drop the bishop back to f1. He plays it in immediately. So that means I can take. I get the benefit of castling, so he'll do the same, I guess. But then I'm going to get bishop up with a nice diagonal threat. Very dangerous for black, this. If the knight moves anywhere, I grab a pawn and the rook's trapped. I think that's very, very easy to miss. I don't see how he defends it. I might be wrong, of course, though. It's very easy to miss things. Of course, he's got rook across. Then maybe I can push a pawn up, or I can play a rook across myself. And he's going to have to move, so now I'll grab the pawn and then rook next move. What level is my opponent at? Against these, a 1900 level player, a strong player. But take. Yeah, just simple development and just push and push. Oh, he's given me a pawn. That's a mistake. If he plays rook across, then I just drop the knight back. I think he just played that without thinking there. So now just try and put the pawns on light squares, just gradually ease forward, there's no rush. Again, hit the knight. Just don't let the knight hit the rooks at the same time, which is what might happen now. I've got knight forward. I can come here. Maybe I can just double up. Actually, doubling up is dangerous. Doubling up is dangerous. Knight up, rook across. I need to think about this one. This is the threat, so I'm looking at rook across. But then he can take, I take, and he forks anyway, so that doesn't work. Rook here. He's got rook across, or he can take. No, I'm just going to play across, and if he gets a pawn, good luck to him. I'm going to then play knight in and hit the rook, I think. So knight in. Does it work? Actually. Rook up. He takes, I take. He grabs a pawn. I'm going to get the 7th rank, aren't I? So it's got to be right to trade this. It's got to be. If he grabs the pawn, I get a check. And then I'm going to pick up the pawn. And that pawn's going to fall eventually. So check. Take. So now go behind this pawn. Double up, of course, if I get the opportunity. Okay, so he's allowed me to double up, but I might as well grab the pawn first. I'm getting a tempo hitting the knight, then I'm going to double next move. So he's going to have to play rook across. Question is, can I trade 2 rooks for rook and pawn and push? I don't think it quite works, but I can push. He then gets knight up. I can move rook across. I don't see it being a big problem. If I shuffle rook across with knight in, knight check, I just take it. He goes the other way, so again, keep the rooks connected, push, and if he takes, then I get in after the king. Okay. Maybe I should have hit the knight there, actually. Maybe, maybe not. Push. Yeah, it's going to be harder to win it this way, but I'm eliminating some risk as well. Ooh, am I getting rid of his rook here? Check, he goes somewhere. Check, he goes somewhere. That pawn is going to fall, isn't it? Is there a checkmate? I don't see it. Whoa, has he seriously done that? That must be checkmate, right? Check, takes, and mate. Excellent, that's very good. So what have I done? I've played 10 games. I've gone 8 unbeaten, so that's not bad. 5 wins, 3 draws and 2 losses I think I've got there. That's not bad going. So I was only planning on playing a handful of games, but it's going not too bad. So 15-24, good luck. Now again, like the other game, I just have to move the knight and we can castle kingside immediately. So knight up is very logical, otherwise we want to release the bishops. Yeah, that's what my opponent has gone for, so I'm going to release, so I've got bishop up if he plays queen up. That's what he's done. So get on the diagonal. He can't just go back, he'd lose the bishop, so he's got to really play the pawn up. So now I'll develop my knight and just line up castling. Release the bishop. Okay. Get castling out the way. Again, it's going to be hard to crack this position. He's got a solid defense, so let's go forward. So he offers the bishop trade. Okay, I don't see why not. I'll go forward. Going to be really tough to crack through this, so really tough. Let's just go for normal, sensible development. So he hits the bishop. My gut feeling is to drop back there. Again, I've just got to be aware. Takes, pawn down, and there's suddenly a big threat there. I have seen it. So do I just sack? Do I sack? I can always play f6, I suppose, can't I? Yeah, let's just take and play f6. He's going to push. I might even push here. So pawn takes, knight takes, queen takes. Bishop up still isn't on though. Actually, I think it's still better this way. I think it still works out better this way. Let's simplify. Now this is the bit. What do I do? How do I do it? I'm going to push the pawn first, get a tempo on the queen. Now where do I put the queen? I want to go somewhere around here and hit the knight. Oh, he goes for it now. I didn't expect that. So take, bishop up, he's got knight takes. Okay, there must be a way to exploit this. Rook across threatens a back rank. Check. So does that provide a crushing win? I don't see how he defends it. Queen across, he doesn't defend it, does he? If he goes there, I'm covering with a queen. Otherwise, how does he get back to block? He has to block like that. Ooh, have I blundered here because he's still threatening? Okay, now I play f6, but I've still got take with a rook if he takes. He doesn't then have a check, and he's still got the same problem. He's done well getting out of that, though. He's done very well there. But I am going to take the rook, that's the threat. He should probably castle, shouldn't he? If he castles, it gets rid of the risk. He's bound to see that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4. So I'm just 2 pawns down. It looks like I'm 2 pawns down. So take. Doesn't matter if he goes with queen or pawn. But I'm in a lot of trouble this game now, a lot of trouble. So we've got queen up, knight back, maybe queen forward. But again, it's not really threatening anything, is it? No real threat. So he just comes across. So rook over, gets the rook developed with tempo. If he comes forward, there's a mate threat, so I can't play that. Okay, I'm going to go forward with a bishop and hit the rook. I'm banking on the fact that I hope he can't just sack here. And if he wanders forward somewhere, then I get the same sort of threat with the back rank issue, so I don't think he'll do that. I think he'll just shuffle across. And then I'm looking at maybe going forward. Not sure, not sure. I mean, it's going to be very hard to salvage it, so because he's got increments, he can really use a lot of time up. Right, so that's what he's done. He's played across. So if I play up, I'm not actually threatening the rook, it's protected. Or the knight for that matter, immediately. I'd then be threatening knight up, but it's not really doing anything, is it? Not really achieving anything. But it's getting me active though, and it gives him something to think about. Knight supports rook, bishop supports rook. Again, you've got to be looking at moves like this or like this in case it works, and it's what he's gone for. I don't think it works, but if he takes, I have to take the rook. It's forced, the king can't move otherwise. Check, and I can just block with the rook. And he doesn't have a check back, I just take. So I think he's gotten into time trouble, and I think he's realised it doesn't work, but he's still got strong pawn chain. It's not over, this. It's not over. Now what do I do to exploit this? I'd like knight forward to threaten mate, but he's got the check. If I move the knight, he's got a check here. So what about bishop back? Bishop supported by the knight. I'm threatening rook across. So he's moved over. Alright, I'm going to drop the queen back now. Knight supports bishop. What? Can he play that? No, that's a blunder. That's going to be checkmate. Excellent, that's another good game. Right, I think I might pause there. So I've got up to 45th place, but there's no way I'm going to be playing all the event. It's 6 hours long. 6 hours long, there's 3.5 hours to go, but after 2 relatively shaky losses, I've gone 9 games unbeaten. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 wins, 3 draws and 2 losses. So I think that's enough. I think that's very good.